Transmitting to you from Old Heart Radio.
Let's see if this works. Don't look at me like that. Yes, yes. Hello, you wonderful, awful, uncooked hot dogs. Get on down here and hop in this boiling pot of podcast, and I'll help you get cooked. Yeah, that's right. It's another episode of Coffee and Contemplation. I'm your host, Old Heart, aka Jared, and I am here with my specialist of special guest stars, Bowie Prince Tussie Bug, aka my puppy dog. He's chewing a bone over here next to me, hopefully. I just needed to give him something to do while I squeak out a podcast. Because, dear listener, I know I have been living up to the most least consistent name. So, figured it's about time. Either way, I hope you're doing great. As always, I hope you're ripening up your coconuts since we last listened to the sound of my voice together. Yeah, it's true. I suppose there's been like a little bit of relief set in for, 70 plus million Americans recently. I am referring to the election that recently happened, the presidential election that recently happened. It was a source of increasing anxiety, not just for myself, but for everybody else. And it seems to have gone in the favor of rationale, of reason, of science, of whatever the fuck not Trump is. And that's good. That's good, because as far as I'm concerned, we need to bring this country back to a slightly more neutral position in order to continue to tip it to the left. I want this country to be progressive, man. I want this country to be progressive as fuck. It's embarrassing that other countries are more progressive than us. Why? Because it means that they're evolving faster than us. Here in America, people like roughly 70 million people want things to stay the same, man. They want the good old USA, and putting aside the fact that that's a fucking fallacy and it wasn't ever a good old place for everybody to be. I don't want to stay the same, man. In my personal life, I make it a goal not to stay stagnant and the same. Why the fuck should America, And I'm not saying dusty old Joe Biden's necessarily the person to bring complete change, but what he's gonna do is he's gonna show us, hopefully with his his administration, that change, although scary to take on, may not be that bad. But who knows? I'm just a lowly podcast recorder who sits here and pretends to, know things about life. I don't know dick all about life, listener. And I don't know why you listen to me talk about it. I wax poetic about things I wish I'd tell myself. Yeah? You ever been that person? You ever been that person that gives out advice to other people that you wish you'd live by? I guarantee you that is me. And I guarantee you at some point that's been yourself as well. Why? Because mainly I think everybody's been there. I think everybody's, perhaps in hindsight more, but you don't live by your own words. And I think our current president is a great example of that. I don't think that a person lives by his own words. And I think it's important to. I think it's important to hold yourself accountable. If you want to be accountable, you have to hold yourself accountable. Don't rely on other people to do that for you, to call you out on your shit. Sometimes in the past, I feel like I've gotten into that mode where I've been so egocentric and bold as to say that if you got a fucking problem with what I'm doing, you come fucking talk to me. You know? And, it's good to not be a pushover and not to like let everything dictate, how you live around it. But it's important to take note of other people and to take note of other people's reactions to yourself, and not live with solely your own opinion, because that's a fucking dangerous game. And if you think that your own opinion is the only opinion that matters, then that's a dangerous game as well. And I'm not talking about that Ice-T movie that was also coincidentally partially filmed in my hometown. The only probably movie claim to fame that Wenatchee Valley has. But it's important, man. Like, check yourself before you wreck yourself, right? And I guess this holy shit. Shoutouts to everybody that voted one direction or another. Thank you for using your voice this election. Shoutouts to all you hot dogs listening. Thank you so much. Get on Instagram and find us and follow us at Old Heart Radio, and find us on Twitter at Old Heart in Space. And thank you for my friends and family. They are constantly putting up with me. It's nuts. But my last concluding thought on the election, really, because I don't want to get too deep in it this podcast, but it's just I'm glad to see that we're holding people accountable that are in office, and by that I mean I'm glad to see that we have the majority vote, and the so far the electoral vote count has been in the favor of Joe Biden, and that means that people have had enough of Trump's shit, and it's because he's been a no good president. He's been a president who found out that he was beaten in this election while he was golfing, and I feel like that just sums up the majority of his presidency. So, nuts off to you. I hope Trump can slither into a cave where everybody will forget about him. That being said, that's not the only thing going on in life. Life is moving as usual. For your jolly old podcast host here, I'm in the throes of registering for school. I've decided to finally pursue my dreams. I know this is not what people expect, but I'm finally pursuing my dreams of being a librarian. That's right. For a long time, well before I left Wenatchee Valley, and well into, when I was a fucking kid, I always thought that being in that room full of books, being in that building full of books, and being the person that knows about the books and organizes them, aka being a librarian, being a sort of archivist, has always been something I've been interested in, I suppose. And I took some long, deep, hard looks, and I found the only community college in the state that has an online program for library services, and I can transfer to get a bachelor's in said subject as well at the other only 4-year university that has it in the state. That's Central Washington University. I will be attending Spokane Falls Community College, so shout out to there. All online, so I'll still be here and based in Olympia, Washington, of course. But I'm excited. I hate school. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say it right now, dear hot dog. I fucking hate school. I think it's a bubble you can get trapped in really easily. I think people lose purpose in the depths of the education system. Not everybody. I guess that's a blanket statement. But I don't really like wasting my time in education, and that's why it was nice to be able to reflect and really find that this is the kind of path I want to choose, and I don't know. I'm looking forward to pursuing. And it will also help me, coincidentally, these podcasts might just end up getting better for you, dear listener. because coincidentally, I'll be studying a lot of organizational and researching tools. I will be learning how to use databases that will help me research things more thoroughly, and so it might. And then this is the other thing. It might help with my creative itch, and that's always something I've really wanted to find a balance to. Is finding a career that I don't hate, while also being able to fulfill my need to create and produce something. And these two things line up so well. So I'm looking forward to that. Wish me luck to your hot dog. Bowie is sleeping in his bed right next to me. He's so cute. Let's see what else has been going on. I've been picking up the bass. I've never played a stringed instrument before, listener, but I'm here playing the bass guitar. Very poorly, but, dinking around. Dinking around enough to know I need to buy a looping pedal, a looper. Give myself some looping action so I can play drums to those things I'm diddling around with. And I kind of want to start a band, I'm thinking. I don't know about that. I don't know if I have time for that shit, honestly. I just want to start a recording project that just involves me doing things at my own pace. That's life, really, at the moment. Trying to figure out how to be productive and at my own pace, so I don't feel overwhelmed, but I'm able to accomplish everything I need. Weird, right? Weird how you have to manage those balances. Because I'm doing all of this stuff in between, obviously, working full-time still. And working full-time in the middle of this COVID thing with cases on the rise is anxiety-inducing, and it makes me feel panicked at times, and I fucking hate it, and it distracts me so much. I'm extremely grateful for the money that I make off of my job, and I'm grateful for being able to pay my bills and have a roof over my head. But I'm not grateful for the public and how they continue to respond to this ongoing outbreak. So, a lot of stuff, and I apologize for having these, like I said, most least consistent moments where I don't post consistently, and then I have like 2 or 3 weeks sometimes out of 1 month where I post like super, super intensely. If you have anything you want to say, you know what to do. Reach out. This has been another episode of Coffee and Contemplation. I'm your host, Old Heart. That's right. Go out there and use your brains for good. Ripen up that coconut as best you can every day of your fucking life. And like I said, follow us on Instagram at Old Heart Radio. DM us if you have any ideas for podcasts or if you want to be on one. We're here. You're there. Let's make it happen. And as we say, as we always end it, keep your stick on the ice.